Already, hi everyone. I am Harshil. I'm the founder of Dream Studios, and today is another good video about freelancing 101. How to freelance, what can you freelance in, and all that jazz. What's the context? Firstly, why am I making this video? We put out a video, not a video, but a post, talking about the complete freelancing roadmap from 0 to 10k. I think if you're just starting off, this is a very good starting point to get to that 10k milestone. And yeah, this post did pretty well. 42k impressions, 319 likes, and yes, I bookmarked my own post. So yeah, a lot of people were interested, and in fact, I just gave the link, and turns out 106 people liked it. And I realized it would be better if I could make a blog about it. Why should you trust me? That's a very good question. Uh, we have been working in this space for a while. We are now an agency, but yeah, I mean, this whole thing took time. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the payments we received on 29 October, so it's been a while. This is another from November 11, and there have been more payments. But the point is, like, I just wanted to tell you that hey, you're watching a video from a person that you can trust. So I put out this blog as well. This is the blog, and it maps out everything. What are the foundation you need to do? Getting your first client. Some SOPs you need to work on. How you work on SOPs. How you follow up things. Setting up retainers. How you can try to set up a retainer. How you can like convert things into retainers. It took us a lot of while, honestly, to uh, build into retainers. How to invoice and like how to like do this. And how to avoid a lot of these things, like client like, okay, I'll pay things like that. How to learn skills that generate inbound leads. What are some big mistakes I did throughout the journey. Building momentum. What does building momentum is? Like just growing this, figuring things out, and then like how to scale yourself, what's the maturity, and basic conclusion. So yeah, what is let me start from the very rudimentary approach. Freelancing 101. What is freelance? Well, freelancing is basically that you will do some freelance work for someone. What does that mean? That you will provide a freelance service and people will pay you. What is the critical thing here? The critical thing here is that you need to have a skill. When will they pay you? When you have a skill. And you can't have any skill. You need to have a monetizable skill. So monetizable skill is any skill that is not hard to learn, but it takes time, and something that helps someone either ease up their life or helps them create money. These are the two broad spectrums in which you can help out, right? So for example, if you are a dancer, right, you can be a dancer and you can participate in events, and you can be a freelance choreographer, etc. You can help because you have been dancing for a while. You can teach kids to dance, and you can make freelance. If you're a singer, you can participate in these cafes, be singers here, and like make a living out of that. And if you're like me, we spend most of our time on cursor and terminals, so yeah, you charge for your knowledge of tech. And yeah, I mean, so you need to figure out how you make any skill monetizable. That's the fundamental root of it. And yes, coming back to this, the complete freelancing roadmap. So just like I said, you need to discover your niche. You need to figure out what can I charge people for, and what I already mentioned, what skill do you already have that a business might need. For example, uh, if you let's say if you're very good at creating graphics, then you can go to restaurants and tell them that, hey, I can create a graphic, and if if you see an increase in your sales, you can pay me, and or we can figure out. So you can just walk to restaurants asking for this kind of things, and a lot of jazz. And then obviously it's need to be a function of something that makes you happy. I am, but don't take it very heavily. I am not super into this function, but yeah, problem solve I can solve better than most people. So obviously, so it can be design, writing, coding, marketing, communication, project management, problem solving, whatever. But never start as a generalist. Figure out what skill you are good at, so that you can figure out what your offer is. You go from offer to sales, to offer to leads to sales, to obviously working with them, right? So the foundation is simply figuring out your niche, and then building your online presence. Right now, it's pretty simple. If you're doing B2B, go for LinkedIn. If you're doing I mean, technically everything is B2B, but you can do LinkedIn, you can do Instagram, you can do even Reddit, you can even do Twitter, you can also do Facebook. Facebook, people think that there is not a lot of work, but the boomers and like the older generation still work there. And then have some kind of portfolio. If it is a Google Doc, also that is also fine. Um, I also have portfolio brochure kind of thing. But if you're starting out, you won't have it. But if you can just create a simple portfolio, that also works. And yeah, professional profiles always helps because if you're working in the online space, people will ask, hey, can you send your portfolio? So if you can create those professional websites, that helps. But one critical mistake is I've seen with a lot of freelancers is like I talk to them like, hey, are you available to work and all that? Have you started, applying to jobs and all that stuff? And they're like, yeah, I'm just like, getting my portfolio ready. Like there is no perfect portfolio. Just it's iterative loop. You'll learn it the hard way. So yeah, set your foundations. Establish the business basics. Yeah, I have added, but honestly, out of this, choose a business structure. I don't think Shurume you need it. Separate bank, that helps. Honestly, that helps. If you have separate bank account, it helps you track your finances. Create an invoicing template. uh, I use Wave. Honestly, this might have been added by AI. I just use Zoho books and वगैरह and draft basic contract templates. Yeah, this is helpful. Contra पे भी है and Honeybook also has government. And find some rates, because never go into a conversation saying up whatever you feel fine works for me. Find market rates, and if you can't find, and like try to figure out मतलब, what is your base 1 hour price. It can be $5, whatever dollars. Yeah. So phase two, first clients. Yeah. So I think we are done with the. So this skill you need to figure out, and once you have figured it out, you go on to making a offer, and now you have your offer sorted. So in order for offer, you need a brochure. So you have made brochure. So now comes the second stage in this whole process: getting your first client, warm outreach. This whole templating is something I picked up from Alex Osmosi, where he says like uh, everyone is looking for like clients, but if you just go through your WhatsApp conversation, your mail, your followers, and your contact book, I am sure there'll be at least 5 people, and I kind of agree with them. So one secondary thing that I have learned from him is like never sell to the person directly, sell them indirectly. And so if you see this template, hope you are doing well, la, 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 you started with this service, I would love to do you know someone, if you know anyone struggling with. So what happens is, if you are talking to someone and you start advertising your service, because this is such a market focused upon like advertising, you're bombarded with ads, your mental receptors go off like, hey, defense way. But if you tell them like, hey, do you know someone, if there's someone in your network that might need, then they are like, okay, I'm ears to that. And then they might like, hey, I don't have any friends, but I might need a help in building this app, etc. So second direction offer is good because they're open to listening it, and then they can also need a first degree help. So yeah, I mean that works. And when I was starting out, I was just like just working with people, like saying ki, do you need any help, and I didn't really know how to get consistent leads. Honestly, it is less likely to work, but daily outreach, 60 minutes a day, just DM a lot of people. Uh, it's Outreach is just a process in itself, and yeah, I mean there are some templates. What secondary method, it's a slow one, so it's never gonna be like boom, you just put out a tweet and then people are paying. Assume that for the first 2 to 3 months, be very happy with the fact that you're following your passion or you're following something, and don't expect to make money. I'm not saying you won't make money, I'm just saying don't keep the expectation of making money. There is something known as grit. You need to spend those first 3 months building grit, and then will come probably the point where you start getting all these things stuff happening. So the channel 3 is strategic partnership. This you can do once you kind of have been doing few works, and what this basically means is you can partner up with agencies. So you can partner up with agencies or micro freelancers, and you can tell them like, hey bro, you just talk to them enough and you learn, so you figure something out. Network effects always happen. So yeah, I mean this happens a lot. My whole mistake was like, I would meet these people, but I would not be in a regular touch with them. So there's a remembrance value, which is like people remember you, back of the head. That value needs to be high for you to be referred by people. Uh, so yeah, landing your first client. I mean, this is pretty much the repetition. If you're just starting out, don't focus on companies. B2B contracts take a lot, and they will probably not trust you if you're just a young, hustling kind of person. Um, and yeah, target companies, not individuals. Okay, this might have been written, but I would honestly go against it. Initially, start with individuals and then work towards companies. Solve expensive problem. Yes, yes, this I 100% agree with. Um, Why? Because if you're solving less expensive problem, they are always optional, and they are always, if you're solving a less expensive problem, obviously the money they'll be giving you to solve that problem will also be low. So solve expensive problems. Not hourly rates. Hourly rates hardly work now. People need a rough pricing to put a finger on. This is my, so internally you can use hourly racing. So what you can do is you can figure out your hourly rate and then get to calculating your effort cost. But other than that, I would say build packages. It's easy to wrap things into packages, and yeah, I mean this is just a thing about how to set things up. So yeah, I mean this covers everything. A very important part once, so again, to from in this journey we have gone from brochure to leads, and let's say you spend some time, and after that you are able to figure out one lead and you close them. So what happens when you close them? Interestingly, so one critical thing that I also missed initially was you need to start building SOPs. What is SOP? SOP is a standard operating procedure. Sounds like a fancy word, but what does it mean? It's like every time there are a lot of these grunt works, or there are these things that you can, that provide a person a better experience. They can instantaneously tell. For example, when you get to a restaurant, a waiter comes to you and talks to you nicely. There's music playing. There's like a table has been decorated in a way. You feel fancy. You feel nice. You feel welcome. That is SOP, standard operation procedure for the restaurant, to get more people to come in. Talk to them nicely. Boom. They like it. They like the waiter. Boom. That's SOP. So yeah, you need to build SOPs. Um, yeah, this is important key whenever you're talking to someone, reply fast. I think there was this video by Alex Osmosi, and I'm a big fan of the guy, but he said like how as every minute increases in your reply time initially, like, it happens honestly all the time. But the more your reply time increases, the less likely you are to be able to close that thing. Like keep things fast, reply, boom, 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 move it, and get a discovery call as soon as possible. And you can, yeah, this is something I also do. Minute 0 to 5, build repo. What does it mean? Tell them about yourself a very tiny bit. Here's where people get wrong. They just go on, ki, we do this, blah, blah, blah." Nobody has time to listen to your story, honestly, right? Focus upon um, what they need. Like you're there to solve their problem, not they are not here to listen to your story. So ask them about their business, ask how they found you, and build common ground. For example, oh, you are in that country, oh, it's 9 p.m., oh, mere it's this time, la la la. And oh, if for example, if I'm from India and if someone is from also from India, he's an NRI client, I'll just talk to them like, oh, where you were born, and that's interesting because I've been to this place once and I really like this things about that place. And do it genuinely, like you don't have to force it. Okay, and then deep dive into the problem. Make them feel important. Making them feel important is a, for every client it's important, all right. Yeah, I mean, then once you have understood the problem, present solution. Something that can always help is if you can give them the confidence that hey, this is your problem, I have already solved. So if some client comes to me asking that hey, I want to build a product with like conversational bot and I have already built it, boom, then just go for it. Just show that example. And yeah, I mean, the last is just closing off. Um, you can like talk to a budget and everything. Something super critical, send a proposal within 24 hours if you're just starting things out, because everything is fresh. You don't want them to go to the office and then they're like, let me think about it. Just keep things moving fast. Like, so you just like go like boom, boom, boom. If this works, contract and payment. Uh, Now this might be tricky because um, a lot of times if you're working in tech, you need to, when you have to technically implement, you need to really scope things out. So this is something you can figure out yourself, but like ideally you should have everything sorted as soon as possible when you're sitting kicking off. And yeah, I mean, once the payment is cleared, you can send them a list of everything. What it does, it gives them a very good confidence, like, hey, I'm working with this person, um, and this is the way they work in, and it also sets an expectation on their side. And yeah, I mean, this is just like how you can send updates and everything. So these are just like normal mailing templates. I won't deep dive really into it. Um, Follow up SOP, you can just like keep talking to them. Once you have like worked with a client already, you can do these things like, hey, by the way, we are running New Year offer. If you need help with anything, just ping us. So you can do all these closed lead secondary upsellings. This is there. And matlab, you can build a tracking system. I have a sales CRM, I have a product CRM, everything like that. And okay, retainers is something very interesting. Retainers, so if you're in the services business, I think retainers is the only thing that ensures that you truly survive, because if you don't have retainers, you are always gonna be in this crunch of getting new clients. If you have retainers and you have contracts signed for like 3 months, 6 months, you know that these things are working. So yep, you need to work your way up towards retainers, and you need to know how you can structure things out. You can, so for example, uh, blog industry companies do this. Design companies, what they do is like 100 hours, 100 billable hours, and then one active request on and all that jazz. Some So you can set up contracts. Cancellation is pretty important because people just cancel. And like if you're doing a effort based something, then how does rollover work? I do set up rollover, but I set it up for design sprints, and like a limited number of hours can be rolled over. And yeah, I think that's once you have retainer clients, you will get to this 6 to 10,000, 12,000 MRR. I'll be very honest, even we are not stable to this point. So everything beyond it is something even I am to learn and explore. But yeah, I mean, I know the path. We have the direction to that. So invoicing, this is just lot of tools and how you can follow up, because like people do create a lot of chaos in payments. Trust me. Um, what else? I mean, so after that is just a lot of documents you can read up. I don't want to exactly go deep dive, because these are systems that I have heard from people who have scaled up, and I haven't really built them, and speaking on them in depth will be not good. But yes, this is something you can do. And scaling, and the idea is like by second year ish, if you've been scaling, you can grow it into specialized agency, or like do subcontracting, and or you can go productized of services where you can do this and hybrid, and the last is obviously you can make your own offers. So yep, I mean that's pretty much the whole roadmap. uh, and yeah, I hope this whole thing helps you out. You can check this out at dreamlaunch.studio/blog, and then click on this blog with this. How do I go? I think I've been clicking on sections, right? So yeah, there's this blog with this. It's me standing behind, and you can just click. Everything is here, and people have really liked it. It has been liked by a lot of people. I think someone also commented like this has been super helpful to them. How can I show you that? Replies. Yeah, so I'm usually cynical and cringe by posts like this, but they are mostly attempts at engagement farming. But this guide here is actually gold, incredibly well written with multiple templates. We try to provide maximum. I honestly just, so a lot of these conversations, right? With the template you see, I just use ChatGPT and I've organized into folders and I just asked it like to help me curate this. So these are real stuff, real things I have used. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for the video. Hope this helps.